I wouldn't say Ron DeSantis had much more momentum at that debate on December 6th than he did the day he dropped out. But after Iowa, it didn't seem much of a mystery that there was no path for him. He said he earned his ticket out of Iowa. There really was no ticket to be earned with a 30-point second place deficit. And I think he did the right thing. I don't see any point in him having stayed longer than this. What do you think?
I agree with you, Megyn. And I thought that his video statement that he put out on Twitter over the weekend was dignified. And, he ran as long as he could, longer probably than many people thought he would stay in the race. But look, the results in Iowa, DeSantis's results, if you add his together with Nikki Haley's, they still didn't add up to Trump's. And well, I think it's good that Republican voters got a choice. They showed that they didn't actually want this choice. Trump won every county in Iowa -1, and that one county went to Nikki Haley by a single vote. But DeSantis's campaign was premised on winning Iowa. And when he came out of Iowa without winning a single county, I think it showed it was time for him to get out of the race. Then he did so. He took a little shot at Trump in that video statement, saying that he has differences with Trump on elevating Anthony Fauci and on COVID. So he took one shot at Trump, and he took another shot at Nikki Haley by endorsing Trump before the New Hampshire primary. I think his voters are likely to go to Trump tomorrow night in New Hampshire. And but overall, that video was about 5 minutes long, was quite a dignified exit from the race.
Let me show that in part to the audience. I mean, it's funny, when he said, I earned my ticket out of Iowa, all I could think, I love the Talking Heads. All I could think of was that song, a ticket to where? A road to nowhere? We're on the road to nowhere. Anyway, it is a sad day. I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for all the people who really loved him and wanted him. And I myself have serious questions about whether Trump, I get it, sledgehammer, huge personality, very strong guy. Is he really the best? Is he the best? Is he the one who can take down Biden? I hope so. I've been open about that. I can't vote for a man who's in support of transing children, sterilizing them, making them infertile and unable to achieve any sexual enjoyment for the rest of their lives. Oh, sure, let's do that to a 14-year-old. That makes sense. Fucking no. Sorry. It's like such a hard no. Who could vote for that? Who could vote for that? Okay, anyway, I diverge. Here's a bit of Ron DeSantis in his announcement yesterday.
If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how to lead. Thank you, and God bless.
Emily, as I watch that, I can't help, I don't want to kick the man when he's down, but I also can't help but be reminded of the reasons why he didn't connect. You know, it maybe if Ron DeSantis had thrown out the teleprompter and just done that last bit from the heart, it would have resonated more. You know, he's not, I've spoken to him personally, like one-on-one, and he actually can be warm and he can be very funny. I would love to just hear him, just him, without anybody else having interfered, without like a teleprompter speech, just him saying, this is why I'm getting out now. He didn't do it on the launch, really. He didn't do it on the exit, really. He did both on X, which is a very online thing, which his campaign was criticized for being from the start to the middle to the finish. I hope the guy's got a future. I don't know. What do you make of it?
I think actually, in a weird way, it's sort of a bright day for Ron DeSantis, because where he first was thrust into the national spotlight was as a governor of Florida. People felt, and even, by the way, non-Republicans, I mean, his approval ratings in Florida before he launched his presidential campaign were super high. I mean, we're talking over 50% easily. He was supported by a lot of independents, even Democrats were okay with Ron DeSantis. Not all of them, but there were some who said, all right, this guy's doing a decent job in my state. So he's going back to that now, kind of back to basics. And to your point, Megyn, about the video, I wrote this for the Federalist this morning, but I was thinking about something a very smart consultant friend of mine who worked on one of the other actually failed Republican presidential primary campaigns said about Ron DeSantis. He said, people vote differently for governor than they do for president. When you're voting for governor, you're voting pragmatically. You want someone to get things done. When you're voting for president, you tend to vote inspirationally, somebody who inspires you, who moves you, who can do well in those sort of big abstract questions about the direction of the country that so often are focused on in the media circus over presidential politics. And so I thought when you look at Ron DeSantis, not being in that space anymore, going back to this very innovative legislative campaign that he's leading in Florida to kind of take on radicalism, and in ways that people can have disagreements about at times. But if you're conservative, the thrust of what Ron DeSantis has done legislatively in some very interesting ways in Florida is good. And so I think now that he can be back in that space, the sort of laboratories of democracy on the state level, where he really excels and where voters seem to respond to him because they see the results in their own state, in their own like laboratory that they exist in, kind of think that's good for Ron DeSantis and an opportunity for him to maybe rework the national stuff. Maybe he can get better coaching or less coaching, to your point, and just be himself and be comfortable and come back in 2028. But he definitely made a classy exit yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I would love to talk to him right now. I would love to interview him. I would like to go sit down across from him. You know what I mean? And just do a face-to-face. I won't prepare any questions at all. That's the kind of conversation I want to have with him now. Like, what happened? What did you learn? Could it ever have been done if you had redone the launch, if you had redone your media strategy, which he was self-critical of recently, saying, I should have gotten out there more. I shouldn't have just limited myself to conservative media in the beginning. Could any of it made a difference in the face of the gorilla, right? Like, it's just, how could you get around him? The criticism of, he should have been more critical of Trump. Well, how would that have worked? Ask Chris Christie. How did that work out? Like so many armchair quarterbacks with all their thoughts. Meantime, the gorilla did have some thoughts on DeSantis bailing. It wasn't like the most full-throated endorsement that DeSantis did of Trump. He kind of said, I signed the pledge to endorse, and so I will, and I'm going to endorse Donald Trump. But it was an endorsement. It counted, and it's still very soon. I'm sure he's still stinging a bit from the loss. Here's what Trump said in part in response. Saw 3.
Before we begin, I'd like to take time to congratulate Ron DeSantis, a really terrific person who I've gotten to know his wife, Casey, for having run a great campaign for president. He did. He ran a really good campaign, I will tell you. It's not easy. They think it's easy doing this stuff, right? It's not easy. But as you know, he left the campaign trail today at 3 p.m., and in so doing, he was very gracious, and he endorsed me, so I appreciate it. I appreciate that, and I also look forward to working with Ron and everybody else to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We will have to get him out. So I just want to thank Ron and congratulate him on doing a very good job. It's a tough situation. It's a tough thing to do.
Good for Trump. I mean, they've been slinging the mud a bit, as the campaign got more into the voting phase. DeSantis got a little bit more pointed. Nikki Haley certainly has as well. Trump in reverse kind of has always been rough on these two. Meatball, remember that? But I do think, don't you think, Eliana, the Republican Party would love to see, even if it's not their preferred candidate, they would love to see the party come behind somebody and get on with the fight against Joe Biden, like turn all of their ire, all of their money, all of their efforts against the person with whom they really have the most ideological and other differences.
That is what voters seem to be saying. And in fact, that's what DeSantis said, where he didn't say, I think Trump is the best nominee. He said, I'm picking up what the voters are putting down. I'm hearing what the voters are saying, and the voters seem to want Trump, and I'm going to listen to that and get behind Trump. Voters were presented with a choice. There were 7 candidates on that first debate stage, or more. I can't even recall now. And they represented from the left of the Republican Party, Asa Hutchinson and Chris Christie, people very, very critical of Donald Trump, all the way to Trump fans. DeSantis campaigned as Trump light, or as an alternative to Trump with competence. But I do think one of the problems of DeSantis's campaign was, if you were going to say, vote for Ron DeSantis because blank. Nikki Haley, her message has been pretty consistent. It's been Trump is too much chaos. Biden's too much chaos. Vote for Nikki Haley if you want to end the chaos. I don't think DeSantis was ever able to quite settle on a message.
The Megyn Kelly Show is supported by Grand Canyon University. Founded in 1949, GCU is a private Christian university that's dedicated to delivering an affordable and transformative higher education. Their vibrant campus is located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, and according to niche.com, it's ranked a top 25 best campus in the country. Look at it there. As of June 2023, GCU offers 330 academic programs with over 270 online, allowing you the freedom to earn your degree on your time from wherever you are. At GCU, your degree, whether it's a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, integrates the free market system and a welcoming Christian worldview. Learn more about GCU's programs, competitive tuition rates, and scholarship offers from your university counselor. They are part of the supportive graduation team who takes a personalized approach to helping you achieve your academic goals, walking alongside you every step of the way. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. For more info or to enroll, visit gcu.edu. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.